Hey guys, here's Siren for you. I consider myself a flex tank main and I have about 90 hours playtime on Roadhog alone. I default back to him whenever I see a chance for him to work in a team comp. This is advice I can give you for Hog to carry your games. For the start, I can tell you that the hook is your best friend and your worst enemy. It is able to get you a pig, but it takes time for the enemy to fly towards you, and this can be a death sentence for yourself. And even if you miss it, the hook animation takes long enough that you will take massive damage considering the enormous hitbox of Hawk. This is a pressing issue, since the barrier nerf made positioning even more crucial, so think about your positioning and don't overuse it. Movement towards the enemy after hook before shooting is a way to ensure more pellets will land on your target. But don't do that if the enemy has an escape button, like a Moira Fate. Then it is better to just shoot, otherwise they won't take any follow-up damage. Next on the list is the Take a Breather ability, and it is one of the best abilities in game. It can get you out of situations only heroes with some form of invulnerability could get out otherwise. Take a Breather is enough to survive a D.Va bomb. If you are low enough, it will still kill you, but at least if you are full, you are able to survive with it. But to counter this, it is really easy to get stunned or even anti-naded from any decent enemy player. So it is a requirement to be more careful with it than it used to be, since more and more stuns made it into the game over time. For your main weapon, you have to use your scrap gun appropriately to the ideal engagement ranges. The left click is only really good in close combat situations. Everything beyond 8 meters should be engaged with right clicks. Be sure that you have at least a bullet left in the chamber if you hook, otherwise your enemy most likely will get away. The ideal attack combination to ensure a kill is typically this: a right click into a hook, followed by a step forward, left click melee. That will kill every squishy in the game and will deal a big dent into a tank. Now we get to the ultimate of Hawk. In my opinion, it is a little bit of a niche one. You can't use it to win a team fight as easily as others. You need specific situations for it to do great work. The pushback of it makes sure that neither you nor your enemy will die from it, if the positioning of both are good. So you need the enemy in an unfavorable position for them, like a wall or a ledge behind them, to be really effective and deal great damage to the enemies. But as stated earlier, that won't be the case in most circumstances. You should use it for two things. One of them is killing one specific target after a hook that would otherwise survive, like a wrecking ball that annoyed your backline the whole match. The other is to get the enemies out of a position you don't want them to be in, while also dealing damage so others can do the rest of the work. All the while, Hawk is really vulnerable, cause you can't cancel this ult yourself, and you won't be able to take a breather during it, so make sure you get healed or you are able to get into cover where you won't get hit. It is better to use only half of your ultimate than to die during it in normal circumstances. One last thing about his kit. I told you that hook is a tool that has to be worked with care, but that is not entirely true. It's really dependent on the situation you are in. In smaller engagements where you are not tanking bullets from 6 enemies at the same time, it isn't that bad of an idea to throw your hook with less reluctancy than otherwise. Just think about it that way. If your hook accuracy is too high, you need to take chances for more risky hooks on valuable targets. If you manage to hook a Zenyatta or any other low life character without an escape tool, it will swing the balance of the fight more than just hooking a D.Va that's gonna boost away a second later, most likely anyway. To be clear, D.Va is still a good target for a hook, but it's better to get more valuable targets. One of the hardest parts about Hawk is to know when your presence is needed in specific locations. Is the enemy more passive and defensive? Then you can get away with a nice flank, or you could simply play together with your other tank to get value out of his presence. If the enemy is more die focused, flanking can easily lose you the fight. It is crucial to be aware of your backline getting dove. Your hook can be a lifesaver here. Even if you miss, the lone presence of the hawk in the backline is pressure on the diving enemies. At last you have to know when to swap. Hawk is not the ultimate tool for everything. He can get value in most situations, but the enemy can get more value out of you if he is able to exploit you enough. As an example, Hawk's shield breaking capabilities are great and helps your team out immensely. But if you get overrun by the enemy tank lines, you will simply lose a fight. Then it's time to swap. I could give you more examples like a Sombra or Ana that are using the abilities to get the better of you. But I think these are enough examples of this kind. And it's enough to showcase what I mean. With that last recommendation, I will end this video. Thank you for watching and now get back in the game and start to carry as a real Hawk main.